Okay, thank you. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, thanks to organizing committee for organizing this one-day research webinar on a very special topic, that is a research paper writing and publication. Basically, these are two topics. One is research paper writing and second is research paper publication. So thanks to organizing committee, especially our event coordinator, Dr. Shobha Rupnar, for taking the efforts for organizing this event. I personally thanks to Dr. Rakesh sir, who has delivered very nice and informative talk in the morning session. I have also attended his session, and then later on I have changed some of my slides so that we can skip the repetitive part. The objectives of this research webinar, there are two objectives. The first objective is to promote, strengthen and stimulate the research components, whereas the one of them is research paper writing and research publication. That is our first objective. And second objective is to understand a successful research paper writing and publication. I have put the word successful because many people are writing research papers or many people are publishing research publication. But one of the objective is let us see how to write a successful research paper. So basically, what are the different research documents? First is writing a review paper. Second is research papers. Third is research books or thesis or dissertation. Fourth is research proposals. Next is patents and research progress reports. So today I will speak only on how to write a successful research paper and their publications. Basically, when I started research long back, almost 25 years back, I came to know through this French word, that is a research, that is searcher, that is to seek or to search, and re means again. So we have to find out the systematic investigation into reality to gain the knowledge, to transfer the knowledge, and that's why that is the significance of the word research, again search, keep on searching, like that. This is a French word. So basically, before proceeding for research papers, I understood the various types of research. And please try to understand, I have said morning, almost 250 participants have been participated, and they are from all disciplines: art, commerce, science, engineering, pharmacy, management. So this is a generic topic, how to write a research papers. So these are the types of research, that is a quantitative research, qualitative research, descriptive research, analytical research, applied research, fundamental research or pure research, exploratory research or conclusive research. So it may take a different series of lecture to discuss on this different types of research. Basically, if you want to go ahead for fetching the grants, funding agency, so as per my knowledge, we should go for the applied research or engineering research, which is useful for society. So now I will speak explicitly on a research paper. This is my personal opinion. Whatever I have included in my presentation, in my slide, this is my personal opinion. Sometimes you may not agree with me, but this is my personal experience, what I did in last few years. You cannot write a research paper without doing any research. I think so. You can write a review paper or a review article, but if you want to write a technical research paper, you need to do some research. And that's why I'm claiming that you cannot write a research paper without doing any research. As per my knowledge, the following are not research papers. First is the documentation of an idea without any through calculation or without any experiments. Documentation of other people's idea or other people's work, that is not a research paper. General information about the field, general information about your research area, thrust area. So that is not basically a technical research paper. So you have to do the research for writing a research paper. That is the conclusion. So this is the general structure by considering the various programs, various disciplines, various faculty in the sense faculty of art, commerce, science, medical, pharmacy, management, and so on. This is the general structure of the research paper, what the researchers are following. First is the abstract. Yeah, of course, title, authors are already there. Abstract, then we go for the introduction, we go for hypothesis, that is then we go for the methodology to be followed, the main body which includes results and analysis for applied research, then conclusion, then what is the summary, that is the expected outcome, acknowledgement, references, and so on. So this is applicable to all disciplines. What should be the structure of your research paper? This is a generic. This is the structure of a research paper, which the main parts of composition, main body of your research papers. So first is abstract, introduction, literature review. I have added here methodology, result discussion, conclusion, references, and appendices. The main parts of your research contains three. That is, one is the introduction, second is the body, which covers your methodology, results, and literature review. And the last is the conclusion. So most of the readers, they are more interested to read whenever the paper is going for review. The most of the readers or reviewers, they will see the title of your paper, the conclusion of your paper, and then they will decide what is to be done, whether we have to go ahead or not. So this is the general structure of any research paper. So exactly when we write the abstract, that all the journals, they have their standard format. What is the length of that abstract? How many words are there? Generally, we find 300 to 500 words in the abstract. So abstract, it is a summary of a body of information which talks about the main claim or the argument of a paper. So reader, when the readers, they read your abstract of the paper, then they should understand that why did you do this study, or if it is output of your research project, what did you do and how to do it, that is a research methodology and all this thing. What did you find, the results, and what do your finding means what is the significance of research work, that should be included in the abstract of the research paper, and it should not be more than 500 words. Then the one of the most important part of the main body of your paper, that is called as the introduction. The brief discussion should be there. Then why the topic is worth researching, why the topic is funding, what is the statement of the problem, what is the origin of the problem, and what scope is there, particularly to your that research paper. That should be there in the introduction part. That is the overall overview of your the rest of the paper. Suppose, for example, if the length of your paper is 20 pages, then minimum 1 to 2 pages should be there as a part of introduction. So after reading the introduction, they should understand exactly what is to be done and what has already done. That is the overview of the rest of the papers. Sometimes little confusion is always there between the literature review and introduction. So let us see, basically literature review, it contributes the what has been done as far as your research topic is concerned in last 10 years, and exactly what is to be done in your research work. And the literature review is a very important component or very important things for writing a good or successful technical research paper. So really it takes a long time to understand the literature review and what is the quality of the study to be reviewed, and that we will come to know through the review of literature. Generally, suppose now 2020 is going on, and if you want to write any research paper, so generally we should see what has been done in the last 5 years and not in 1968, because as far as the applied research is concerned, engineering research is concerned, social research is concerned, qualitative research is concerned, I think so every day, every month, every year, the lot of research is going on. And that's why it's my personal opinion, at least we should go back maximum 5 years to review the literature of your topic. This is also the most important part, that is called as the methodology, or the research methodology is a separate topic, separate subject for pre-PhD program of most of the university. And unfortunately or fortunately, recently that the UGC has introduced the research methodology for most of the postgraduate program. But when I was a student, I was not aware about the research methodology, and unfortunately, till 3 years back, even for ME, MTech or MSc student, this subject was not there. And then the PhD student, they are struggling for even writing the statement of the problem, origin of the problem. They got confused. What is the difference between research methodology, research methods, how to go ahead with the different approaches and with their significance. So this is very important. And of course, research methodology is vary, or it depends upon the types of research. If you go for applied research, your methodology will be different. If you go for hypothesis or analytical research, your methodology will be different. If you go for analysis report, analysis research or quantitative research, your methodology will be different. Just like you have to prepare a questionnaires, and then after questionnaires, you come to certain conclusion and so on. So research methodology, it depends upon the types of research you go for. And this is the most important part, that is called as the conclusion. In conclusion, basically, generally two parts are involved. One is the results and second is the discussion. So you have to sum up your findings, or reader should understand what is the significance of your work, what is the outcome of your research paper, what are the expected results you had claimed earlier, whether it has been achieved or not. That should be there in the conclusion. So conclusion part comprises two. One is results and second is the discussion. And maybe some of the authors, they are putting the future scope also, because if you go for scientific research or engineering research, definitely we are finding different limitations, problems, and then we ended with that one, and we are putting the future scope for other researchers, other student, to go ahead with, or to extend that idea or to generalize that idea by applying the different methodologies. So results means to present the findings of your research, whatever the results you have obtained. That is again depends upon your research, whether it is applied research, analytical research, qualitative research. So that is coming under this part. And discussion means you have to show your understanding what your data suggest. So results and discussion, these are the two major parts as far as the conclusion is concerned. And most of the readers, they try to understand how you have concluded your research paper, how you have quoted, noted your findings of your research papers. Yeah, references, it is very the general term, but the each funding agency or the journals, publications, publishers, they have their typical style of writing the references. Some are writing alphabetically with surname first, name first, and so on. So it is expected that whatever the papers you have referred, you have used in your research paper, that should be there in the references. It is also expected sometimes you have to put some research books or the books you have used during your research work, some websites, some research organization, and of course, the basic or fundamental research papers that you have used. So generally, these four parts, they are coming under the references. Appendices is also the equally important to present the relevant details of your research work, such as letter to participants and organization, to present the details of questionnaires, surveys you have done for your research work, and you can also present the relevant documents like reports, policy, historical documents. If it is applicable for your research, then only you have to include this appendices. Otherwise, you can sum up to the references. So after the writing the research paper or during the research paper or before writing the research paper, there are few questions. So many parts I have skipped and I have included some of the other slides so that you can aware about some fundamental things or basic things as far as the structure of the research paper and publication later on. So who will be the authors and what should be the order? I'm talking about the in generic where the worldwide it is accepted. The first author should be the main researcher or the leading author. And as per my knowledge, that the PhD student or JRF or SRF, that's they are the main researchers. Then second is assistant researchers. Third is if you have a collaboration with a different organization, you can write the collaborators, main advisors, and investigators if your research paper is the outcome of your research project. You have a funded research projects and the part of that research project is a research paper, then of course all investigators, they should be there in the list of authors. So this is the generally worldwide it is accepted. Please do not agree for co-authorship unless you were personally, closely or directly associated with the work. I will not speak much more on this topic because you are aware about as far as the authorship is concerned. This is the suggestion that who will be the authors and what would be the order of authors. Acknowledgement, this is equally important. So you should not forget to acknowledge the co-workers, your collaborators, your advisors, your immediate supervisor, your host and research institute. Many times, suppose if I am a research student, I should write their acknowledgement or in the affiliation part, that I am a research student of this institute or I am a research student of this university and I am working as an employee of this institute. This is for if you are doing the research along with your job. And if you are a research student, full-time research student, then there is no question of host institute. But sometimes the host institute, they are deputing for higher studies like PhD under quality improvement program or various programs of UGC. So I think so you should acknowledge it or you should put in the affiliation of your paper I am also associated with my institute, and of course, everybody is writing the place of research or the place of research center. Collaborating institute, of course, if you have collaboration with other research organization or industry, then you should acknowledge them. And the funding agency, if your research work, if your research project is funded by the external funding agency, then I think so it is the part of your duty that you should acknowledge the name of or the funding agency. The important part as far as the all the research component is concerned, but the one of the research component what we are talking about today is the research paper. And now last 5 years, UGC and other regulatory bodies, they are too much alert and they have published various plagiarism policy and thanks to this regulatory body for coming forward for plagiarism part. So plagiarism means passing of someone else's work as your own, or you can claiming the other's work as your own work. So that, and if you are not acknowledging, and I think so, it is a plagiarism. So that may be a figures, that may be a graphics part, data part, tables part, equation part, paragraph part, and others, hypothesis parts, statistic, calculation parts, and so on. So I think so, it is better to avoid this part, and you should go for different plagiarism software that I will tell you shortly. So plagiarism and paraphrase, these are the two different terms. So please remember, nowadays it is equally important before presenting, before publishing, before sending your research article, research document, research proposal to outside or interaction with the outside world. It is always better to check the plagiarism, because it is the act of presenting another work or idea claiming as our own work. And if you go through the plagiarism policy published by the various regulatory authority, really the punishment is very high. And so it is always better to check the plagiarism. So I have put this one good example, how to avoid the plagiarism or how to reduce the plagiarism. So same word is there, direct quote from research. For example, Japan's beautiful Mount Fuji last erupted in 1707 and is now classified as dormant. Dormant volcanoes show no signs of activity, but they may erupt in the future. If you keep these para as it is, then it is coming under plagiarism. But if you modify it, then that will be considered as a non-plagiarized paraphrase. So I have quoted like this. I have changed the technical language and I have written the same para in different way so that we can reduce the plagiarism. So the technical language to be used in writing the research paper, that is equally important to reduce the plagiarism, because for the good journals, the plagiarism should not be more than 2%, 3%, or maximum 5% they allow. So these are the few plagiarism prevention software. The most worldwide accepted software is Turnitin, that you cannot use free. Second is Orkund, and the remaining all these softwares are free software. So only thing is that the percentage of plagiarism can be reduced. Means, for example, QText, EasyBee, PlanScan, Plagiarim, White, Smooth, Plagiarism Neat. This is the one app where at least you can check the percentage of the plagiarism of your research document, and you will come to the very close to the report of the Turnitin or Orkund. So these are the from point number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all are free plagiarism software, and it is always better to check any research document which I have quoted in the slide number 2 for submitting to any funding agency or any journal to check for the plagiarism. Yeah, of course, formatting research paper is equally important if you want to publish in good research journals. Most of the very common style formatting, that is IEEE, second is ACM, third is MLA, fourth is APA, because each journal has its own formatting or style. Generally, it is associated with one column or two columns, page margin, this should be there, spacing should be there, word limit should not be more than like that, alignment of text, paragraph indentation. Most of the renowned international journals, they are asking to submit the research paper in LaTeX. then writing different style of references, writing research books, number of page numbers, style of writing the page number. These are non-technical part, but which is equally important as far as the main body or the technical research paper is concerned to published in good research journals. So I think so it is always better if you submit your paper in LaTeX, because worldwide LaTeX is a very renowned software, or it is a one type of language where most of the Scopus or Web of Science journal, they accept or they ask to submit your research paper in LaTeX. So this is the main part. As far as now I am talking about the few slides on research publication, exactly to where to publish, how to calculate the number of research publication, what is the research weight of your paper, research weight of your journal, and so on. I understood this long back 7 to 8 years back when I had applied for the post of professor in IIT Bombay. Then during those days or during that interview, when the people, 7 professors, they were there in front of me, when they had started asking the question, what is the weight of your research paper? Then I got confused because I was not aware about the fundamentals of how to calculate the weight of the research paper. That's why I'm putting for your kind information. To calculate this number, so multiply is citation weights by journal weight and divide by the number of authors and add for all the papers. Suppose madam has give the introduction, I have published 128 papers till date in last 25 years. So there are only 86 papers where I calculated the weight of that paper as per the definition given by the IIT professor. So how to find the journal weight of the paper? What 8 years back I came to know, and they had told me the journal weight of the paper is 4 if it is published in a strongly referred journal. The journal weight of your paper is 2 if it is published in not so strictly referred journal. It is if it is 1 if it is published in a non-referred journal or in a conference proceeding, but is reviewed in a reviewing journal. But the blind review is there even though it is published in a conference proceeding. And the journal weight is 0 if it is published in a non-referred journal and even not even reviewed or the conference proceeding. So conference proceeding publication has a 0 weightage, because when I had appeared, I have been to IIT Bombay. So during those days, I had published almost 22 papers in various international research conference proceeding. And unfortunately, that has not been published in the journals, and they had given 0 marks for my that 20th research paper. So I thought that it is always better to have an interaction with you and to put so that you also can find out the journal weight of your paper according to this definition. So please consider this IIT, they have their formula or they have their guidelines for finding the journal weight of the paper: 4, 2, 1, and 0. So number of papers written in collaboration with others. So 3 slides back, so we have seen how to find how many authors should be there and how to calculate the credit of each author. Suppose if a paper is written by n authors, suppose 5 authors, so each author can fairly claim the credit by 1 by 5 or 1 by n of the author unless this factor is taken into account. Some authors can artificially increase the number of their papers with an informal agreement with other authors. So they discuss with each other paper before they are sent the paper. I know you, this is I'm talking about the game theory, and I have already spoke on that. So please remember, unnecessarily or artificially do not increase the number of authors. Otherwise, the journal paper weight will come down drastically. So in my opinion, generally in each paper, the leading author or the corresponding author is a student or junior research fellow or senior research fellow, because they are making or they have made a significant contribution. They are the main for that research paper. So I think so you should take a call. Really, if the authors they are helping you directly or indirectly, then only you have to increase the number of authors. Otherwise, just now I told if there are 5 authors, so each author will claim for that research paper, that is 1/5. That is, suppose you are a leading author, so you will get only 20% credit if the 5 authors is there, even though your contribution is 90%. So please remember, the number of papers written in collaboration with others is equally important when you go for or applying for the different posts in various good institute. Number of citation of paper by other authors. How to calculate when you are applying for good institute for higher post? Now today you are assistant professor and you are applying for associate professor or research professor or senior professor, then this matters. Some papers are cited by large number of authors in their research paper and reference book. Some are cited by author and his colleagues only, and some are forgotten immediately after they are published. So how to calculate the citation weight? So paper may be given a citation weight equal to, this is a formula for finding the citation weight, 1 plus A into 1 plus B upon 20, where A is the number of time it is cited by others, and B is the number of time it is cited by the author and his colleagues. So number of authors, it plays a very important role to find out your citation weight, weight of the paper, and so on. So I think so, sir has already told in the morning session how to find the impact factor. So generally, there are many, the 5 lakhs plus research and international journal, they have their different methods for finding the impact factor. But I have seen this good research organization, particularly in India and even abroad, they consider the impact factor as per Thomson Reuters or Clarivate, which is a product of Web of Science, and it is a very simple formula or simple equation. Impact factor is A by B, where A is the number of times article published in last 2 years and which is cited by the index journal during the next year. So they will calculate the average of number of articles published in that journal for the last 2 years. Some of the journal they calculate for 5 years also. So they take the average of last 5 years. So you will get the impact factor for 5 years. But generally, the Thomson Reuters, they calculate only for 2 years. So A is the number of time articles published in last 2 years, and B is the total number of citation in last 2 years. A by B, that gives the impact factor of that journal. It is worldwide accepted if it is calculated by Thomson Reuters. Weightage to the research paper in API. I know some of the faculties may be from grantable colleges or good organization or university departments. So generally we talk about the annual appraisal even for the private institutes. Many people are struggling or trying for to going outside, going abroad. So the weightage of that paper should be considered. So as per the new guidelines, the UGC and AICT, they are given 8 points per paper for API in third component, that is a research component. Basically, teaching, research, and adaptation, these are the 3 major parts as far as the teacher is concerned. So for API, now they have decided to promote the research part, and that's why the research component is equally important. So API is talking about incentive, is talking about only the research component. So they give 8 point per paper without impact factor. If you have 2 authors in your paper, then 50% for each author. There are 4 points each. More than 2 authors, Then just now I told you what is the significance of increasing the number of authors. If you have a 5 authors, then 70% weightage will be given to the main author, leading author, first author, and 30% will be divided with the remaining 4 authors. That's why it is always better to reduce the number of authors so that the weightage of research paper will be increased. Apart from this 8 points, the very good system is there. And thanks to this regulatory body for promoting the research paper who are publishing in the good journals with Thomson Router impact factor. So if you have a paper with impact factor less than 1, you will get 10 point extra. It means you will get 10 plus 8, 18 points. Impact factor between 1 and 2, 15 point extra. 2 and 5, 20 points extra. 5 and 10, 20 points extra. And impact factor with greater than 10, 30 points extra. Even though if you have a published a single paper in 1 year with impact factor between 1 and 2, you will get 15 plus 8 points, that is 23 points, which is the eligible criteria for the post of professor. Just you have to publish one paper with impact factor. So please remember, this is equally important if you are in the beginning stage, you are working as an assistant professor and your aim is to going in good research institute, university department or good institute, then this weightage of research paper is equally important. Generally, the question is there exactly after writing the paper, where to publish. So worldwide, it is accepted, not only in India. This is my personal opinion. The first preference should be given to the Scopus Index Journal. Second is Web of Science Journal. Third is peer-reviewed journal. Fourth is strictly reviewed journals. Next is conference paper indexing in Scopus. If you are publishing in the conference and no indexing is there, I have already told you it has a zero weightage even though your paper is good. So if you want to present the papers, then you should check what are the indexing of that research conferences. If the indexing is not there, they don't have a association with the good journal, then I think so. I'm not digressing you, but I would suggest it is always better to present your idea just for interaction with the good researcher and don't publish. And but if they have a indexing, they have a collaboration with the Scopus or Web of Science or UGC listed journal, then you can go for the conference paper also. Conference paper indexing in Web of Science and the referred journal, that is the UGC care list. I think so. This is my personal suggestion. It is always better to go in this sequence because authors know their original contribution. They know what has been done, what is my contribution in my research paper. We know exactly to whom to contact, to whom to publish, to which journals to choose. Because we are the authors, we know exactly what is our original contribution. This is the concluding remark of my presentation. First of all, we have to find out our original contribution. Then before publishing a research paper, I think so we should go for the patent to protect your IP. Again, you have to decide whether that patent should be a national patent, international patent, commercial patent, or non-commercial patent. Publish your work keeping a copyright with you, with us, if more than one author is there. Because I remember in 2011, I have been to Taylor Francis office, IEEE office. And then in 2011, I came to know that one of the paper when I published during my PhD work, and now that IEEE, they are selling my paper with the cost of $30 because I'm not having that copyright of my paper. So they are minting the money. I have done the research and they are minting the money. So when I went to that office in 2011, they had sent my research paper. Almost 300, 3,468 people multiplied by $30. And that's why copyright is equally important, because you are putting your efforts for publishing paper in good journal, but journals are minting the money by selling your research paper because of the open access policy. So you have to publish your work keeping your copyright, publish research book with copyright. That is also a good idea, because youngster they referred research book is also equally research component for initiating the research work, for initiating the PhD problem or a statement of the problem, origin of the problem on your thrust area for the youngster or the PhD student. And the next step is for applied research, engineering research, that real problem you can convert into product. So this should be the sequence as far as your research work is concerned. First, you should go for patent. Second, you should go for paper. And third, you should, if possible, you can convert into product or bringing a product into the market or technology. So this is the conclusion of publication. So I have covered two parts. One is how to write a technical research paper for all the discipline, and second is the publication, exactly where to publish, what should be the citation weight, how to find the impact factor, how your research papers are equally important for your internal promotion, how research papers are equally important for fetching the grants for research proposals. Because after PhD, most of the times, and even during PhD also, some of the supervisor, they make you compulsory that you should write a research proposals for utilizing that grant for lab purpose or visiting various institute, for hiring the equipments, for purchasing the research equipments, and so on. So if you want to submit a research proposals, that your curriculum vitae or your biodata, considering your research papers, the past experience is equally important. And that's why that research weight or the publication weight of that your research paper is very important. I hope I will be happy to interact with you. If you have a questions, you can ask me on these two topics. One is research paper writing, and second is the research publications. Please.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and information with us. Sir, you have also highlighted the importance of research paper in API at the level of assistant professor and associate professor. Yes, sir, dear participants, if you have any query, then you can raise your hand. I will give access to your mic. I think Navaprit Kaur. Yes, Navaprit Kaur, you can ask question to sir now.
Very good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for the nice lecture. So I have a question regarding how we can patent our research paper. If you kindly brief it.
I think so. Filing a patent is a separate topic, but I would suggest to go through the patent website. You will understand there are 4 steps involved for filing a patent. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. So I would suggest to go through that website. You will come to know exactly how to go ahead with for national patent and international patent. Slightly the procedure is different.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Navaprit ma'am. Sir, we have another question from Mahesh sir. Mahesh sir, you can ask the question now. Mahesh sir.
Good evening.
Good
Yes,
evening.
sir.
Hello. Yes, sir. Nice information, sir. Actually, my one question is there for research paper. How to calculate the H index? How to calculate the H index from the research paper?
Sir, H index generally we find for research paper also, and then for if you take the average of your research paper, you can find the H index of authors also. And if you are working in any university or institute, we can find the H index of your institute also. So it is always better to publish your paper in index journals, minimum with the Google Scholar. Then only you can find your H index. Indexing is very important. That journal is indexed by whom? That is very important.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes. I got it.
Thank you, Mahesh sir. Sir, we have a question from Raghupati sir. Raghupati sir, you can ask the question right now. Raghupati sir, are you there, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Are you audible?
Yes. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. You can ask the question.
Okay. So thank you very much for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
I asking my question. So I prepared my manuscript in SEA journal, but that journal is not in scope transfer in another journal. So what is the reason, sir?
Generally, what happened? This SCI or Scopa Journal or Web of Science Journal, they keep on changing. They have their standard criteria to include the various journals indexed by this standard indexing agency. Right? These are the standard indexing agency. One is Scopus, second is Web of Science, third is API, then IC, then Plagmat, and all these things. So it is always better, even though it is published in SCI in 2018, and now in 2021 it is not included. But you can claim that you have been published or you had published your paper in SCI.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, we have a question from Madhulika ma'am.
Okay.
Madhulika ma'am, are you there? Okay. So I will take a question from Ravindra sir, Ravindra Patil sir. Sir, you can ask your question. Okay. I think we have a Momin sir, Dr. Momin sir. Sir, you can ask your question.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. My question is how to calculate the I-10 index?
So, EH index, yes index, and ITID index, that the Google Scholar has given a formula for finding the EH index, ITID index. So you can put the details of your research articles or research paper through the Google Scholar. You have to register for Google Scholar first, your name. Then you can find out I-10 index also. Please go through the Google Scholar and register yourself. Or you can include all the research paper published by you. That is the one way. Second way, you can increase your I-10 index by registering through the research gate. That is also the one of the good criteria to increase your I-10 index and H index. I
Hello,
hope
ma'am.
you
May
got
I
it.
ask? Hello, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Oh. Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, we have a question from Morning, sir. Sir, are you there?
Madam, I have already asked.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Ravindra Patil,
Okay.
sir. Okay. We have a question from Prem Kumar, sir. So you can ask your question.
Afternoon. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
How to reduce the plagiarism level, sir?
So that's why
For
I
example,
put it.
softwares are available. For example, it is 20 or 30, it will come means how to we can change the content or we can change the we can again go for new one, sir.
So you can change the first is you can change your content. Second is
Okay.
you can change your language. It is always better to use the technical language. And third,
Okay.
you should change the main body of your research
Okay.
paper.
Okay. I'm from nursing profession. That is why I'm asking, sir.
Okay. Okay. It is
Yeah,
always
thank you,
better to change your content for reducing plagiarism. Common
Okay,
words,
content.
you find
This
out
normal,
new.
yeah, normal plagiarism level, how much, sir?
Normal is 10%.
10%. Okay, sir. Okay.
They
Which
can
one is good,
excuse.
sir? Which one is good, sir? Which one plagiarism software is good?
Turnitin is good, which is
Turnitin.
worldwide accepted. Worldwide accepted.
Okay. Sir, one more time, please, sir. Pardon me. One more time.
Turnitin.
Turnative.
Yeah. TURNTIN.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
So thank you so much to all of you. Now we are at the end of the session. Dear participants, thank you. Yes, sir.
Hello. I'm Mahesh. I have one question regarding the white papers. So what is the difference in between the white papers and research paper?
So this is the way of terminology. This is a terminology which we are using in different research component. As such, there is no as a difference as a white paper or research paper. There is only one terminology as a research component, which is a research paper or a review papers or research thesis or research proposal. These are the different components. There is no as such a white paper, white or black paper like that.
Thank you so much, sir. Dear participants, thank you so much for showing your presence for today's seminar. A big thank you to all of you.